Okay, let's move on to emotional language and what it does. Now, it evokes empathy, and that's the main reason why you'd be using emotional language, and to get people to feel what your characters are feeling. It requires you to go further than saying he or she is happy, sad, or angry. I mean, those are fairly basic ones. I mean, this is pretty much part of the description, that you actually go really, truly beyond it and say that rather than she was sad, do what we just did there with the barley example, which is to say that she was sitting alone, feeling like her body was filled with volts while tears were running down her face. That describes sad, and a kind of sadness which is much deeper than just the word itself. It should be complemented by sensory language where possible, because it will enable your readers to imagine the experience more clearly. And this is a particularly vivid point as well. Not only have we mentioned this before, but it's what emotional language does. I mean, if you are not feeling what they're feeling, then you're not really going to feel a part of it. If you don't feel empathy for them, you're not going to fall into that experience. If you're just saying, oh, he felt sad at the end, okay, well, yeah, people feel sad all the time, I don't really care. But if it's something that you sort of remind people of when they feel sad, they go, oh, that is sad. I kind of feel that too now. That's pretty much what you're doing. And again, it's about that immersion qualities. It's not just about simply saying, oh, well, I've got emotions in there. It's about actually getting people to feel what the character's feeling and fall into your work even more. Okay, so yes, having emotions is one thing, but you need to be able to actually connect it to something. What I mean by that is that your emotional language that you're using in there should be something that people can relate to. The point behind that, as I said, is it's something that allows people to connect with what it is that you're trying to write and to try and show. The fact that people can relate to it means that you're essentially communicating effectively. And again, this is what you're trying to prove when you're writing a story, is that you're able to communicate with people. So for instance, if you say the girl was happy that she won $5, yes, it's an emotional response. She's happy. But it's fairly broad. I mean, anyone would be happy if they got something for nothing. Certainly, yeah, it does connect with people, but it can connect with people in a slightly deeper way than that. If you were to say instead the girl held her $5 aloft with a proud and smug smile appearing with once only a scowl reigned after all the time she'd been left disappointed. That's something people can relate to. Because how many times have you heard someone say, oh, I never win anything. I don't even win raffles at RSL or something like that. These descriptions here really help to connect with someone who has never won anything and really starts to go, oh yeah, I felt like that before when I won this thing. And they start to go into their own experiences. And when people start to go into their own bank of experiences and start to think about other things that have happened in their life and go, oh, that's happened to me, oh, that's true, then that's when you really start to connect with them. And that's when you really start to achieve some power with your work. You don't have to be necessarily a great writer to be able to include these sorts of descriptions. And certainly by drawing on your own personal experience about how you felt when something like this may have happened, for instance, even for a small amount like $5, I mean, it's not a huge cash prize, and yet it's sort of that feeling of, yes, I've done something, I've actually got something for nothing for a change, rather than having to pay for everything and so forth. So it's one of those really powerful descriptions because of the fact that people can connect with it, especially those who don't win anything. And even those who do win lots of things, whoever they may be, and those evil doers out there who do seem to win all the prizes that I don't win, at least anyway, even they can connect with it because they can know someone who doesn't win things as often. Again, those sorts of descriptions sort of really appeal to a lot of people. Your conveying experience everyone has when they win something, or at least most people have. So it goes onto a much deeper level than just simply saying, oh, she was happy that she won. Yay. Ooh, great for her. But this one, you sort of start to feel, oh yeah, it's like when I won that thing when I went down to that raffle, wherever it was. And I won that thing and how good I felt. And you start to sort of feel the same thing as well. And as I said, it connects. Now, using emotion effectively allows your characters to come across as real people. And certainly people start to imagine them as real people and not as characters. And especially if you look at characters on television shows or in movies, the really good actors and even just the okay actors will portray it as if you believe they're almost real people. You forget that they're actors. You need to show when you're writing stories is your characters come across as real people, not something the students come up with. So it's almost like it's based on a true story, even if it's not. You must really think carefully about how a normal person would react to things in normal everyday situations. If, for instance, if it's a death in the family, they don't just go, oh, well, that's tough and move on. They start to feel really deeply scarred, and depending on the circumstance, depending on how they feel about that person, depending on a lot of things, you think about how they would react based on who they are and what they do. So it's not so much about simply saying, oh, well, they had a good run. Though people don't normally do that. They feel something different, and even if they're hiding what they truly feel, then again, there's something that you can use to show that too. You need to find a balance between emotion and other aspects of your story. So first of all, you're not making it too emotive, and you're not making a big sob story, an emotional story, or this is a whole thing about my feelings. Balancing it to have it at the right moment, particularly at the low points of a story, as in if a story has highs and a story has lows, then these really emotional sections can come in the low points to sort of allow that connection between people to come through, and to really get people to go, oh well, that's happened to me, and these characters are just like me. And so when they get to that climax where they act all heroic and they slay the dragon and save the world, then we go, oh wow, we've done it, and we start to think of it as we rather than, oh, he's done it. So that's one of the things that really helps to create emotion in your story, and to do so in such a way that shows off not only do you understand how to tell a story and to communicate with people, but you understand how to make people feel what you want them to feel, and to feel like they are a part of the story. And that's what the really good storytellers do. And certainly, if you're looking at the story from another aspect, this is exactly what authors do in order to convey their stories across. And certainly if you're looking for language technique, language features of texts that you'll see and definitely text that you'll read, then it's about creating the same effect, and so people feel something and connects with the audience, engage with the audience. This is the reason why classic works have achieved the success that they have, because of their way that they're able to use sensory and emotional language. And it's one of the things that really shows quality and ability in your own work. Remember the basic principles of using sensory language to make your work appear more three-dimensional or fourth-dimensional, and using emotional language to connect with people. But otherwise, until next time, I'll see you later.